second. Okay, good. YouTube is receiving.
I gotcha.
Excellent. Okay.
It's still loading on my part.
Yes, but remember, on the YouTube end of things for viewers, they're seeing it about 30 seconds delay. So I will give it just another few moments. Give people some time to get in here.
Alright, I think we're good.
Alright. Hello and welcome to Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, a show dedicated to our favorite nerdy-ass voice actors over on the Geek and Sundry Twitch channel, playing D&D, that our favorite show, Critical Role. Don't worry, if you can't stay, as always, we will be posting this on Monday. And we look forward to having more comments on the videos. Because we don't get very many comments anymore.
Comment, yo!
Yeah, it's hard to have a conversation when we're the only ones talking. And the whole reason why we have the live show, the whole reason why we have these videos on YouTube, so that we can get the comments. But eternal thanks to Akuma Mika at Mal the Griff on Twitter. I believe Akuma's new display name on Twitter is Griffin Malcolm. I don't know if they want us to start using that here as well or not, but we'll find out later. But this week features some more amazing artists. The current art that you're seeing was brought to us by Andrew Scott Keller at AS Keller, Keller 01 over on Twitter. And later you'll be seeing fan art by Arcade Moravlis at Mad Likes Games, and a piece by Keelan at Sailor Hannibal. If you'd like your fan art featured here, please let any of the show's hosts know via one of the following. You can catch us on our official Twitter at Gilmore_gossip. You can use our direct Twitters. You can use our email address, gilmoresgloriousgossip@gmail.com. Or you can catch us on our official Tumblr, gilmore-gossip.tumblr.com.
Which I will be updating soon. I am back on it.
Yay! But contact us via one of those ways, and we will do our best to get it on the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can catch us each and every week. Joining me today is an excellent friend with stories from Gen Con. So
I went to Gen Con.
Yay! Yay! I wish I could have been there with you.
Oh, I know, man.
But, no, so go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your Gen Con stories. I've got
I have...
you gave me some pictures to put up as well to go along with those. So
I did. Hi, you guys. My name's Jess. At Jessie LR Leaf over on Twitter, and you can find me at Crit Roll Sketch on Tumblr. I also run the Gilmore-Gossip on tumblr.com. Bleh, I cannot talk tonight, you guys. Maybe it's just because I am just so excited because holy shit, Gen Con?
That had to have been awesome.
Akiva, it was the best goddamn time of my goddamn life. I legit, not joking, I have never had a weekend that has been so effing spectacular, and I met so many people that are just so amazing. And before I forget, Jenna, when you're listening to this, hi, it's me. I'm that Jessica that just randomly popped up and you did not know that it was me, but you are a frequent listener of this show, and I surprised you at Gen Con by telling you, hey, I'm actually that Jess. So
Awesome.
yes. Love you, Jenna. I love your face.
We love all your faces for all the critters out there. But one thing that, so you posted on your personal Tumblr, if I'm not mistaken, the Crit Roll Sketch Tumblr.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a basic outline of what you did over the time that you were at Gen Con.
I did. I need to post the last one tonight, which you guys can go and check out later when I finish it this evening. But that'll just detail what we did Sunday. And not a lot happened on Sunday, but I did have a couple of shenanigans with Amy Dallin. And
that's actually the story that I wanted to ask about. Amy Dallin was fangirling over you?
Oh, okay. Well, that happened Saturday. Do you want me to go in order, or do you want me to completely lose track and start freaking out now, Akiva?
Go in whatever order you think is best.
I'll go in order from day to day so that we can build up the hype, because the hype just gets bigger and bigger.
Okay.
And then we'll bring it back down with Sunday.
Okay.
So let me pull this up, because I'm actually not going to be able to do this without a guide helping me. So I'm going to try and paraphrase it as much as possible and give you the really juicy shit, so we can burn through all of this. But I'm going to have a couple of shout outs to some people, and I'm probably not going to get to your Twitter names, and I apologize for that. But if you listen to this later, post them in the comments.
Please do.
So yeah. So everybody can go and find you and follow you. So, Thursday. There's a thunderstorm that just happens to come in as soon as we're leaving. And Indianapolis is known for just having really fast thunderstorms that pour down rain and then leave immediately.
Yes.
So we got into the cab thinking, oh shit, we're going to need jackets and everything, and heavy waterproof jackets to cover everything and make sure we're not going to get our laptops all wet. Which was a mistake, by the way. Don't bring your laptop to Gen Con unless you're going to need it, which I did later, but it was still a pain to carry around all day. It's just way too heavy.
Yeah. Normally, if you're going to bring something like a laptop or whatever to a convention, you'll want to leave it in your room.
Yeah.
To use at the end of the day.
Yeah, it would have been smarter, but I didn't have a hotel room. I was staying at a relative's house nearby. So couldn't exactly go back without spending a lot of money on a Uber. So we have these big jackets, and we get into the Uber, and it stops raining 5 minutes into our Uber drive, and did not rain the rest of the day. So we just had these giant jackets that we were carrying around. But that's okay. We get there, I pick up my Green Ronin book, or the campaign guide that Matthew put out.
Yeah, that had to feel good in and of itself.
I am very happy. I'm holding it right now. It is a very beautiful book full of lesbian gods. That's a spoiler, sorry. And beautiful, beautiful pictures of Whitestone, and lots of dragons.
Nice.
I don't know if you know Akiva, but I'm obsessed with dragons. I really like dragons.
Good. Dungeons and Dragons is a perfect fit for you then.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you about it later when I get to it. But here we go. Into the con. So we browsed around for a while, and we had two panels that day. One was the Matthew Mercer. They were both with Matthew Mercer. That was why I chose them, because I typed Matthew Mercer's name in the search for events, and these popped up. And they were panels that basically, the first one was a GM improv panel, and Satine Phoenix was in that one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we head over to the Westin, which is a hotel nearby, and we get there, and we had already previously met a couple of people that actually follow me on Twitter, one of whom is Elizabeth. I forget your handle. Another one is Tiefling of Color on Twitter, and the other one I think is... She was wearing a Kavarn cosplay the entire time, and it was beautiful. Let me see if I can pull up her Twitter handle real quick. There she is. Her name is... Oh, Ariel is here. That is her Twitter handle, @Ariel is here. So she was Kavarn the whole time, and she had a D10 and had little cards that told you when you rolled the D10 what you got hit by, what beam you got hit by.
Nice.
Yeah. So we saw them there, and then we met the Matt Mercer cosplayer, Nicole. The entire weekend, if you have seen pictures of this person named Nicole who was playing Matt, she looked freaking amazing. She was just so awesome the entire time. She was a lovely person, just so humbled by all the people that came up to her. It was awesome.
Nice.
So we're standing in line, and at this point, just for a little fun fact for you guys, Akiva's actually now in my own personal Dungeons and Dragons game with my girlfriend Chris and our best friend Brooke, and he is our cleric of the Raven Queen.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and
our GM... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and for that particular game, I am playing a pirate wood elf. So it's kind of odd having an elf, sitting there, yar, what you be doing, lass? Just odd. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. We all get excited about our characters. Sorry, I was catching up on the comments. I had been not looking at them. But our GM is, her name is Terry. I will link to her Twitter later, but she is amazing. And she had a couple of other people with her in her own group. Two Devons, one of which is a boyfriend, Jenna, and then other Devon's dad. So we got to meet them, and that was amazing, just meeting our DM and standing in line with them.
Nice.
And then we get into the panel after Chris had lost her ticket for a minute, and we sat on the floor scrambling to find it. But we got into the panel. Terry had saved us seats in the second row, and we had a direct line of sight on Matthew Mercer for the first time. And I apparently had missed him walking in. I had been too focused on something, and I had my back turned when he went in. But he was wearing his dread glasses and beanie with his hair tucked into his beanie.
Oh, nice.
So if you ever see Matthew Mercer attempting to disguise himself in that, it just doesn't work.
No.
Because everybody recognized him. It's like, dude, you dress like that is for dread. We know it's you.
Who said he was trying to disguise himself? Maybe he was cosplaying.
No, he walked in with his shoulders hunched up, trying not to draw attention.
Well, that's the way the character walks. No, I'm serious.
Yep, that's true. That's absolutely true. So this panel was It was hilarious. Satine was there, Matt was there, and a whole bunch of other really famous GMs that I've never heard of were there. But I'm sure everybody else in the room had heard of them. But there had been a joke that had been made about Minotaurs and Satine liking Minotaurs. And then Matt mentioned something along the lines of, well, who doesn't like Minotaurs? Have you seen Minotaurs? So I saw that as a drawable moment, and I do not have pictures, and I am so sorry, but I drew Matthew Mercer stroking a Minotaur's arm.
Is that the picture that you showed him later?
No. Well, yes, it is.
Okay.
Well, I gave it to him after the panel, and he got a laugh out of that. That was yeah. that made Jess turn all red. But another highlight from that panel was that I looked when Matthew was thinking at one point. He was scanning over the audience, and I put on my best, hey, look over here, sexy face for him, in case his eyes came my way, which they did, and we had an intense stare down for about 15 seconds where he just looked me dead in the eye with his eyes squinted, and I just gave him my sexy face.
I'm not going to comment. This is a family-friendly show.
That happened, you guys. That happened.
Nice.
And then I proceeded to blush profusely in my girlfriend's lap. So, that was... Yeah. I gave him the picture after the panel. I told him that me and Christina would be cosplaying as Allura and Kima, and then Serenray and the Raven Queen the next 2 days. And he was really happy about that. He said, "That's amazing. I hope to see you soon." And that was that. I got dragged out of that and just a mad fluster of emotion and squee. That was fun. So we decide that we're gonna browse around for a little bit. I get to know Terry's group a little bit better. And then Chris and I go off alone to head over to Matt's other panel, which was a retrospective panel with the 2 lead designers from Dungeons & Dragons 5e. I forget their names. If you list them all off, I could probably tell you which ones.
Mike Merle.
Yep.
Everyone knows, of course, Chris. I can't think of the other guys off the top of my head.
Chat. Put them in the chat, and then I will see which ones were the ones, because I'm a newbie, I did not know who they were. I was like me and Chris were probably the only ones in that room who did not actually know who they were. Mike Merles and Jeremy Crawford. Yep.
Yeah, Jeremy Crawford was the other one I was trying to think of.
No, I'm sorry, Deborah.
Go ahead.
Did I miss you, John O'Brien, at the con? Because I didn't see you, or unless you went up and introduced yourself and I totally flaked on who you were.
I'm going to apologize to everybody in the chat. For some reason, my chat is not populating at all. So if you're trying to say something to me, Jess will have to hit me over the head with a frying pan and let me know. I don't know why.
Oh, I didn't know Laura was there on Friday, Anthony. That's so cool. What did she yell at you about? Wait. John O'Brien, are you Uncle Ook?
Yes, he is.
Oh, my God. Dude. I know you as both Uncle Ook and John O'Brien, but I don't know that you're the same person. You have to tell me, dude, that you're John O'Brien, or else I'm not gonna know. Because you two are amazing. Dudes. Yeah, we met tons of times. Like, dude. Now I feel super weird. This is like...
Well, don't feel weird about it. It's kind of hard sometimes to put a face to
a screen name. But John and Deborah, you guys were freaking lovely. I love you guys so much. Yeah. You're awesome people. So okay. What were you going to say?
Other than the fact that if anyone in the chat is trying to say anything to me, please let me know, because I can't see the chat.
Will do.
Right now. But, yeah. So, what happened next?
So, it was just the two of us. Just the two of us. And we got to the line, and there weren't that many people there, but there was two guys sitting on the ground, and I heard one of them mention Travis Willingham. So, like the proper fangirl I am, I turned immediately and said, Travis Willingham, are you guys talking about Critical Role? Can I sit down with you?
Nice.
So I sat down and I introduced myself. I forget one boy's name because I did not interact with him a whole bunch during this, but I am good friends now with the other, and his friend that eventually came up, his name is Frank, and his other friend is named Alex. And if you go to my page right now and look through my updates, I don't have pictures here for Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, but you will see their faces on that page. And you will also see Nicole's face, and you will see Christina's face. You will see a lot of my friends' faces from that weekend.
Nice.
So I sat down with them and had a really nice conversation. They didn't have any tickets, but they were able to get into the panel and sit right behind us later. So that was great for them.
Indeed.
Indeed. Drink, everybody.
Oh, damn it.
Alrighty. So we sit down, and I'm chatting it up with Alex and Frank, and the subject of Vast comes up somehow. And this is going to go somewhere, because I need to introduce all of these people properly to you before I blow through a whole bunch of other stuff that happened. But these people are important, and I apologize if it seems like I'm taking a while. But Vast comes up, and this other guy on the other side of the doorway that we were sitting in front of, the entryway, in front of the hall we were about to go into, had been talking to Nicole, the Matt cosplayer. And he turns and says, wait, do you watch Vast? And I'm like, yeah, I'm an artist for them. Not an official artist, but I'm a prominent member in the community. And I show him my artwork. He gets up, and I get up as well and go for a hug, but he goes and he spins me around, because he's the giant Australian bouncer who is just a bundle of profanity and fun, and his name is Steve, and I love him. So Steve, if you're listening to this, you're a great person. Frank and Alex, you're amazing people too. And I'll get to Tony later, because Tony is awesome as well. But he's not coming up in the story just yet.
Okay.
Yes, Vast is a beautiful party. Oh, Jesus. No, Anthony French in the in the chat is Tony.
Ah, okay.
Hi, Tony. I'll get to you in a second, because I haven't met you yet, but you're amazing. Anywho.
I wish I could see what was going on.
Oh, it was awesome. I think I freaked Christina out at that point, because I was trying to get her attention. She was sitting across the hall, and there were a whole bunch of people in between us. And she was charging her phone, so it was really loud. So I cut my hands over my mouth and screamed her name, And she got up all freaked out, and I told her I found a new friend, and she's like, "Oh my God, I thought something had happened." So we get into this panel, and I'm having a really good time with and sitting up in front with Steve, Nicole, Chris is sitting right beside me, and we're in the front to the right, and we meet two other girls, one of whom followed me previously on my Tumblr, and their names are Katie and Megan. And they were just a blast to talk to. You can see pictures of them as well on my Tumblr page. And we get talking about this panel. It was a really insightful panel. Matt shows up, and then the two other heads of design show up, and the panel starts. And it's a very interesting panel. And at one point, it got into the subject of how Dungeons and Dragons is just becoming so much more inclusive for different minorities and people of different kinds of gender, other than female and male, and then peoples of different sexuality, different color, and just it was a very touching moment. And Matt had an amazing speech about it. And Christina was almost starting to cry. So for about 15 minutes, I was playing concerned girlfriend in the front row going, "Oh, why are you crying? Stop crying. This is a happy moment. Be happy, not sad."
Yeah, but I think tears of joy would be appropriate.
It would be. It would be very appropriate. So I was sitting in the front row, and for that, and just, about 10 feet away from Matthew Mercer. No big deal. That's completely fine. Oh, did Kavarn hit you with the slow ray, Deborah? That's awesome. I think Christina got the worst one, which was disintegration. So, or it was either that or Finger of Death, where she just died straight up. So that was foreboding. I never rolled because I didn't want to take that chance. I'm not ready to fight Kavarn. So we had that panel. Steve joined us afterwards, and we played Dungeons and Dragons with Terry's group, where I got to play a cursed dragon, and that was awesome. Because that was a class that Terry designed specifically for me so that I could turn into a dragon when I wanted to.
Nice.
That was cool. She's still developing it, and we'll see about releasing it somewhere soon, but it is a really cool class, and the dragon stats are lowered for each specific level so that it balances out. But it's a really cool thing because you turn into a goddamn dragon of your goddamn choice, and it's awesome. You're not just a dragonborn. You're not just a race of people that sort of kind of look like pseudo dragons. You're an actual dragon. So that's awesome.
Nice.
Moving on to the first big day, and I'm sorry, I will try to burn through this a little bit faster. Because I've been just talking and talking and talking about some trivial stuff, but this might go 3 hours, and I apologize.
But, from my point of view, for anyone who's watching and thinking, "Oh my God, make this go faster," from my point of view, this is not just Jess's story about Gen Con. This is also a co-host shouting out the critters that she met there. For me, that's the big focus for all of this. Yes, the stories are phenomenal to hear as well. But, we want to make sure that we spread the love out there, and if we saw you, make sure that you get recognized.
Let me actually pull up Twitter because I'm about to name drop tons of people. All right. So, here we go. Nope. I want to get to my followers because that's where people I know follow me, who are I'm about to mention. Sorry, give me one moment, guys. All right. So next day, it's our first day cosplaying ever. Ever. We have never cosplayed before.
Wait. You guys had those costumes, and that was your first cosplay ever?
Yeah.
Holy cow, you've got talent.
I mean, like, I'm not as happy with the Allura and Kima Chris did an amazing job getting the Allura cosplay together. The Kima cosplay was a little bit more of a throw together on my end. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yes, I was Kima, she was Laura. Yeah. But the Sarah and Raven Queen costume, I am beyond proud of.
You should be.
Yeah. That's what everybody keeps telling me, and I'll take their word for it. I'm not going to discourage myself about any of it. Like, there are very few things that I would have done different about that cosplay. So I'm going to let it be. I'm not going to rant about how bad any of it is or how analytical I was of a certain piece of the costume that I just wasn't pleased about. It went over well. People said we looked awesome. I'll take your word for it.
Well, you did indeed look fantastic from the pictures I saw and everything.
Thanks. So we went as Kima and Allura, dressed up as the Dusk Meadow Kima and Allura, where Allura's just, same thing she always wears, but Kima dresses up in a dress and hairstyle similar to Allura. But then she promptly realizes that Grog's not wearing anything. She gets really frustrated and leaves and takes off her dress and puts on ratty clothing. So that was fun. I had wanted to do a Velcro down the back, but and just tear off the dress. But just taking it off over the head worked as well. Oh, thanks, John. I love my Saren Ray costume too. It was amazing. So we headed straight for the Geek and Sundry panel, and we just met a whole lot of amazing cosplayers. There was some guy cosplaying as Matt, the Dungeon Master Matt. We took some photos with him. Devin and Terry, the couple, had amazing Keyleth and Percy cosplays. Terry, I know you might be listening, and Devin might be listening too, so I'm just going to embarrass Terry and straight up say you have a really nice-looking boyfriend. Congratulations. But Devin was rocking it in his Percy cosplay. And then you got other Devin, who's freaking rocking it in his Vax cosplay with gigantic extendable wings that just look bad freaking ass.
Nice.
And then you got amazing Jenna, who decided she was going to wear this really, really hot cape that in cosplay as bow-covered trinket. And she was just, the poor thing was sweating all day, but she looked so cute. And Katie and Megan were cosplaying as Pike and Keyleth. And you'll see all of their pictures in the updates as well. If you want to head over to my Tumblr page at CritRollSketch and see all of these. They're labeled Gen Con 2017 Parts 1, 2, and 3. If you need to look in the archive for it.
I've actually got those pages bookmarked, simply because the pictures and the stories are just fantastic.
So we met just tons and tons of people, and I'm not going to mention all of them, but there are a few that I'm going to point out, and I'm sorry if I don't get to you in this. I apologize if I skip over you, but we got at Stark Spangles on Twitter, who played Trish the Dish this day on Saturday, or no, Friday, and that was awesome. You look phenomenal. You had her good friend at Phoenix Melody, or Sabina as we know her, who played Sundry, who cosplayed Sundry that day.
Nice!
That was awesome. At Sarah Rokov, or Sarah _ Rokov, I think you have seen her Terry cosplay. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life? Go to her Twitter page, follow her immediately. She is amazing. Her header is literally her and Percy in striped pajamas in beautiful cosplay. Go follow her. Go follow all of these people.
Indeed.
We have Party Gilmore at Captain W. Kelly on Twitter. Oh my gosh, this girl is amazing.
Party Gilmore.
Yeah. So those were the main ones. Also, if you saw the Summer McCree, the guy walking around in the cosplay of McCree's new skin, he is at Tall Squall. He was amazing. We took pictures of him and his awesome ripped abs, and he was just badass, is what he is.
Yeah, I think, I'm always jealous of those of individuals that are actually capable of getting abs, because even at my best, I may have that flat stomach, but I could never get abs. I just don't have the genetics for good abs.
But you could
Go ahead.
still look good. You can still look good, though.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying I can't. However, I've been slacking off on that, so I think the only cosplay that I'm really fit for would be Roadhog.
No.
Or maybe Reinhardt. He has enough armor to hide it all.
Maybe.
Anyway.
So, after... Oh.
Sorry.
You okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting messages from other people right now. I apologize if I sound distracted. Oh, yes. Useless Rogue on Twitter for... Who was that again? I forget. Who was that again? John O'Brien? Let me know. Sorry, I keep getting messages from other people. Let me tell them to stop.
No worries. Real life does have a way of encroaching on the show sometimes. And that's quite alright, because real life must come first.
So... the gag went over pretty well with a whole bunch of people, the Kima gag. And we got to the panel, and it was a really nice warm-up panel. I was sitting in the front row, and I was watching the entire way through, just having a really good time watching them talk about Dread and how great it was, and then a couple of other shows that they were on. And I rushed up afterwards to give Amy Vorpal and Amy Dallin a hug, because I love them so much, you guys. Like, I really, really love them. They're beautiful people. And I showed them immediately my artwork, and Amy Vorpal recognized it, and she gave me a hug, and then Terry had to drag away a very flustered Jess back into the hall after that. That was, yeah. There's actually a selfie of us all on Twitter that Satine took. So if you ever browse through Satine's selfies, you're going to see her face pop up with a whole bunch of us behind her in our cosplays.
So Satine is one of those DMs, one of those people in general that I think I would be extremely nervous around, because she seems like someone that's just so very intense about everything. I don't know if she really is or not. I've never met her. But...
Oh, no. She's not really that intense at all.
Okay.
She's a goofball. I mean, she could be if she wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout this entire time, you could tell that she'd probably been drinking a lot during those days.
Nice.
She had sunglasses on for the last 2 days that we were there, and she was probably really pooped.
Really hungover.
She had actually gone past us into a yard house on Thursday evening with Ruti. And we had left at that point after she came back out, very, very drunk.
Nice. Well, at least, for a convention like that, it's a good time to let loose and have some fun.
Yeah. And I don't blame her. It was an amazing weekend, so, drink your heart out, guys. It was just do whatever the heck you wanted weekend.
Do what you can get away with and not have to deal with negative consequences for.
Yeah. So we took lots and lots of pictures, and we saw lots and lots of cosplays. There were people. One girl was dressed as an amazing Vex in her white dragon scale armor. Everybody knows that Vox Machina showed up.
Oh, nice.
I got pictures of them. They're amazing. I think the grog for Vox Machina was one of the only grogs that showed up to the con.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah. Somebody was Vecna. I saw a couple of Raven Queens. There were a lot of Pikes, Vexes, Percys, lots of Vaxes. There were all kinds of members of Vox Machina. And I ran at every single Scanlan and tried to come at them with this axe that I had stolen from Tony, who we met in line.
Nice.
Tony was dressed as Magnus from the Adventure Zone, and he is amazing. Tony is the 4th member of our now completed The Search Party, which I will get to on Saturday. Not on Saturday, it is Saturday, but I will get to the Saturday.
The Gen Con Saturday.
The Gen Con Saturday. Thank you for saving me. We saw another Kima and Alora, and I do not know your screen names, but if you two who are out there wandering around with the Terry, you can leave your Twitter handles in the comments below, because you two, we were envious of your cosplays, because this Kima and Alora, the Kima was decked out in this amazing scar makeup and just this amazing armor, and then the Alora just had this gorgeous dress on.
Nice. It's always great seeing, what the creative individuals in the community are capable of putting together, whether it's fan art or cosplay costumes. It's just, I love it all.
Yeah. So we were sitting in the we waited for about 5 hours waiting in line at the very front because we wanted to be first.
Yeah.
In line. We talked with Katie and Megan, who had come back, as I had mentioned a lot. Steve showed up again in a kilt, and that was awesome.
Nice.
And we just sat around waiting for this panel, and we all became real good friends, and it was an awesome time. So we get to this Talks Machina panel. We get inside. A couple of highlights from that. I'm not going to mention a lot from that. Brian sang the girl cosplaying as Terry got called out, and there, I think Brian did a somersault, and that was pretty much it. I don't remember a whole lot because I was so enamored with the entire cast just being like one row in front of me. I think you can switch over to the picture with the cast that's from the Talks Machina panel.
Did you send that one to me?
I think I did.
Let me... Oh, yes. Okay, so one moment, everybody, while I get that one up to snuff there.
And I might go back over this in later episodes. I apologize that I don't have it here for you now, but I want to move on to the rest of what I have to say because I haven't even gotten to Saturday yet. And we still have the live show to go over. Actually,
and we have 2 episodes to go over.
Do you want to break this up or do you want me and do the talk for the live show in between this so that we can get to Saturday after we talk about what happened during the live show?
Yeah, let's do that.
Awesome. So we rush out after the panel, and it's Tony, Steve, Megan, Katie, Chris, and I. And we all pile into a taxi and drive over to the theater. And Chris is not feeling too well at this point. She's getting a bit sick. She had laryngitis right before the con.
Ooh.
Yeah, so she had no voice for the first 2 days. And while it wasn't contagious, her fever would spike every night, and that wasn't very fun at all.
No, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, thanks, Tony. Critical Scope has the panel up on YouTube for anybody who wants to check that out. So, and we'll put that in the links below.
Make sure you grab that for me, Jess, because like I said, I still can't see the chat.
Yeah. So we eventually get inside. I get Chris some water, and we're able to get into a cooler environment so that she's able to get situated and feeling more comfortable. And we have VIP tickets. So we sat in the second row and we got to get exclusive merch, which I'm sure all of you have seen the poster and have heard about this exclusive merch, but it was Hugo artwork, who I have so very happily commissioned him in the past for artwork of my own character. And I was super happy that he had done exclusive work for them. And it was hand-signed. This isn't a print. This is hand-signed by the cast.
Nice.
So everybody got one. We got exclusive dice sets, which are just the Critical Role dice, except red.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then we got a really snazzy gold pin with the Critical Role logo.
Nice.
Yeah. That was cool. And this panel that we had afterwards is up on Alpha, and I know some of you do not have Alpha subscriptions, and I will see about going back and trying to do a rundown of what had happened at that panel. But I don't really remember it all that well, and I apologize. I didn't take any notes on it. But I know that Sundry got called out, Vox Machina got called out, Trish the Dish got called out, a whole bunch of different kinds of people just got called out for their cosplays, and it was a really cool time. And then towards the very end, I had been wanting to ask a question so that I could do the gag.
Yeah.
For the cast for the audience just because I'm a nerd like that, and yeah. I'm confident.
Yeah, you got a little bit of theater in you.
Yeah, I gotta perform. So, I didn't get called on during it, even when I was like trying to wave my hand desperately or put it up as quickly as I possibly could, because everybody else wanted to too. They were only got to like one half of the audience. But everybody who did get to ask a question did brilliantly. Asked very, very nice questions. Crit roll transcripts. Got to thank the cast, and they got promoted. But after that, I was able to catch Matt's attention, and I did the gag for him.
Nice.
And his reaction was a little delayed, so in my mind, I felt that the joke didn't go over well, even though he laughed at the end and said that's amazing. But I am an insecure kind of person, so I went to bed that night thinking, oh shit, he didn't actually like it. He didn't get it. Not that he didn't like it, it's just that he didn't get it immediately, or he didn't get the full extent of what it was.
I'm sure he liked it, and I'm sure he got it. It's just, Matt is one of those individuals that has always struck me as, actually giving due consideration to everything. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Jenna actually gave Laura her cape, her trinket cape. And said, "Aww. Now Trinket always has your back." Hey, Jenna, that was a good ass pun.
Yes.
You totally deserved what happened. You guys probably didn't see this, but after the break, after they came back after break during the live show, before they went back on air, Laura came out in that very same cape and flaunted it about.
She did. We actually did get to see it on.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know this, because I did not rewatch this episode. Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
But that was Jenna's cape, and Jenna was very happy in that moment.
Yeah. I can understand why.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure that you all saw everybody enter the theater. There were a couple of things that happened before that. Was the entire theater breaking out into All-Star, which I gladly participated in.
Nice.
And then Sam happened.
Sam happened? With the cube?
Everybody else around me stood up and cheered. I sat in my seat and covered my face and proceeded to lose it.
Laughing hysterically, or going,
yep.
Oh my god, why?
Both, just both. Like, I pulled a Taliesin, what are you? So, that was an experience, getting to see that live.
Yeah, I bet.
So, let's get in to this episode, you guys. Holy motherfucking shit.
Yeah! Unfortunately, my notes have frozen up, too.
It's okay. I know how to start us off.
Okay, so yes, we start... I do know that we start with the shenanigans. Because, of course, they're still... they left off, they were in the Magnificent Mansion.
In the volcano.
And, Grog remembered that... Vax had said, hey, if you get this, if you don't mess it up, I've got something cool for you.
While he was, sounding like he was trying to flirt with Grog.
Well, I don't know if he intended to sound like that at first, but once it came out that way, he just sort of rolled with it, because, A, Vax is bisexual. B, it was funny. And C, the look on Travis's face. Priceless.
The energy that you feel in the audience is just something else when things like that are going on. I look at everybody else around me who has the same expression that I do. Like, what is happening right now? Is this really happening? And it's a certain kind of validation that you get being there live. And it's just, oh my gosh, everybody around here feels the same thing that I have been feeling for years. And at moments, I thought I was crazy for obsessing over this show, but no. Everybody else in that audience obsesses over it the same amount as I do. And it was so gratifying.
Welcome to the community.
So we get this amazing callback to when Terry gave Vax a love potion.
Well, we don't know that it's a love potion quite yet. So what happened was Vax was like, yeah, Terry gave me something that, I could use to prank you. And, of course, I haven't. And this is a testament to how much you actually mean to me. It's a love potion.
Yep.
And they decide to use it on Scanlan. Now, there is a little bit of a discussion on whether or not they will, intentionally set him up with someone. Set him up so that he sees a specific person. Or if they're just going to let it, essentially freewheel it and let fate decide. And they end up going with letting fate decide, but of course, Vax, well, we'll get to that in just a moment. Vax doesn't really 100% agree with that. So, they go back upstairs, and, they start serving some wine as a, hey, we actually got these made, let's do a little bit of a celebration. And Vax slips the love potion into Scanlan's wine. He drinks it, and then Sam Riegel rolls a d4 to see who Scanlan is going to see first. And when that happens, Vax pretty much tackles Keyleth so that Scanlan doesn't look at Keyleth and start getting that way.
Yeah, smart of him.
Yes. So Scanlan looks up. The first person he sees, Percy.
It's Percy.
So.
Yeah.
I have to admit, the fan art that came out from all of that was just hilarious.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it a lot. And then I loved Vex's reaction.
Oh, yeah.
I will cut you, bitch.
Like, she was all like, Scanlan, where is this coming from? I mean, he's already married, and I will cut you. Oh. It was just a beautiful scene.
I loved Percy's reaction. Just like, is it really so hard to believe that somebody actually finds me attractive?
Yeah.
And Taliesin, this is a Talks Machina moment that had happened, but that's on Twitch, so anybody can go watch it, because they didn't do an alpha after dark. But on Talks Machina, Taliesin did talk about how Percy doesn't know that a love potion occurred, so he totally thinks it's rational that Scanlan's actually in love with him. This isn't over.
Oh dear.
This is far from over. And to Percy, it explains a lot about why Scanlan has been so weird with his guns, why he's been so weird with Percy. It just explains a lot for Percy.
Yeah, I can now, looking at it that way. Yeah, now I can understand.
Yep. John is saying cough, Terry cough. Yep.
Oh,
so
boy.
now we've had both of Sam's characters completely infatuated with Talison's.
Yes. But that's not the best part of it either.
Nope.
So the best part of it comes after everybody, they have dinner and they all go on to bed. And Scanlan sneaks through the hidden tunnel system that leads to everyone's room.
That we all knew was there, but never got mentioned.
And he goes into Percy and Vex's room. And like a little 5-year-old that had a nightmare, he wriggles his way in between Percy and Vex.
Vex.
That's what I said.
It sounded like Vax.
I've got this huge grin on my face, so it's hard to get them not to sound the same.
Wearing the purple satin G-string, no less.
Yes. And so he cuddles up against Percy, and out comes Manners.
Dude, you just... This is a family-friendly show, I know, but that thing...
Yep.
Hiding under Percy's pillow, of all things... You gotta know what that implies, dude. There is something
Kink
going on in the
confirmed.
bedroom that is it's top-notch kink right there. It's top-notch kink.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it at all. I have yet to find fanfic on it, though, and somebody link me to it because I need to read it.
I will link it to you after we get done here, because it is definitely NSFW.
Oh, yeah. Moving on from that.
So, yeah, when the love potion finally wears off and Scanlan starts to head back to his room, of course, he's being questioned by Vex as to why. And, of course, he doesn't know he's been drugged. He knows that there was some sort of effect on him, but he doesn't know specifically what. So he covers it with, when Vex asks him why, he covers it with, I don't know, for the lulz. Oh, poor Scanlan. Anywho. And yes, we are skipping over the fact that Percy set a bucket of water trap type thing.
Then it fell on Scanlan.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah. So the next day, from the mansion, Keyleth uses plane shift to shift to Vasselheim. And of course, everybody's getting ready for the attack, and everybody is pretty certain and in agreement with what we had said last week here on Gilmore's, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, here on Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, about how the most likely target for Vecna's demonstration of power was going to be Vasselheim. I mean, everybody was in agreement there. So,
and the sky all around the world is basically scary faces and things in dark clouds.
yes.
It's not natural.
Not at all. Unnatural cloud cover, unnatural darkness. So the first thing that the party does is they go find Pike, because they're like, there's no way we are going to face Vecna without Pike.
Yeah, they also find out from somebody who was painting a symbol of Vecna on his door, that he's been getting dreams from Vecna.
Yes.
Saying to join or basically, die. And he's trying to protect his family, but Vex convinces him otherwise and says, we will protect your family. Have faith in us, or else this will never work, and everything is just going to be terrible from now on.
Yep.
You have to continue to have faith, or else we're doomed.
Although I did find it rather interesting, the way she phrased it, have faith in us. Because she did say that straight up at one point.
Yep.
Maybe, after defeating Vecna, maybe Vox Machina will ascend.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Eventually. Anywho, so they get to the Temple of Sarenrae, and it turns out Pike's not there. They're all up at the... I can't remember what that place is called.
It's Bahamut's temple.
Yes, but it has...
It's atop a mountain. It's atop a mountain.
Yes, I just can't remember the name of the place. Either way...
Chad'll tell.
Yes, probably. And I will never know because I can't see the chat. I'm sorry, chat.
I'll tell you.
Okay. So yeah. They start heading up the infinite stairs. They get up there and...
Platinum Sanctuary.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, John.
So they get up to the Platinum Sanctuary, and all the major religious leaders are already there. Hyber Vord is presiding over the conversation, pretty much. But to Vox Machina's surprise, Jamon Salward is there. And it makes sense.
Yeah, the world's ending. Things are gonna go bad if you don't help out. You're gonna wanna be on the front lines, helping out where you can.
Absolutely. And within a few moments of getting there, 2 followers of the Raven Queen come up and stand on either side of Vax.
Which is really cool, because it's like, oh hey, here's our religious champion, here's our religious leader. Boom, it's Vax'il Dawn, the one and only. Holy shoot.
Yes.
That was cool.
So yeah, they're talking about what they should do. And, there is mention of, well, do we know where he is? All that sort of stuff. And in come 2 Wyvern Riders. Just beaten and bloodied. They had been scouting out where Vecna's forces were, and the entire squad, except for those two, was slaughtered. And those two just barely made it out.
Yeah.
And as they were leaving Tharnfala, the city that Vecna had transported back into the prime material plane, they saw that it was getting up from the ground and starting to move towards Vasselheim.
Now, it's a little bit out of order for me in my head, but I'm pretty sure, like, they had a conversation about Vex taking the ring, about from Highbearer Vord, and then about Vecna always watching where Vecna is at that moment.
That happened just after the announcement that the city was moving.
Okay.
And actually, I was just about to get to that.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, when, after that, Vox Machina does bring up the fact that, Vecna could be watching and listening to everything going on. All of their planning could be for nothing, because Vecna could be watching them. And Highbearer Vord takes a ring off his finger, explains to them that that ring should have the power to essentially block any and all scrying from pretty much any source.
Yeah, any kind of divination magic.
Yeah. And he hands it to Vox Machina, and of course Vex reaches out and takes it.
Puts it on her middle finger, of all places.
Well, at she puts it on her first finger at first, her index finger. And then it's Vax who says, that might look better on your middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
So she puts it on her middle finger. But shortly, they continue discussing some things and starting up actually planning. And then Vecna shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been listening. And it turns out that the ring needs to be attuned.
Yeah.
So apparently Highbearer Vord got complacent and forgot about that little fact.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, people start to panic a little bit, and Vecna's starting to taunt them with which of their family members or friends are vulnerable. And he starts to taunt Allura, who had shown up to offer their assistance as well.
Chris has a sizable bruise on her arm because I was slapping it so hard and jumping up and down and screaming as soon as Kima and Allura entered. Because, we're dressed as Kima and Allura. And I was just like, hey, it's us, it's our girls, it's our boys. We're here. And John or anybody else, tell me if I was the only one who stood up as soon as Kima got mentioned. Because I didn't see anybody else stand up, but my attention was focused on the stage. But please let me know if I was the only one, because that'll just either make things a whole lot more awesome or a whole lot more terrible. I don't know. It'll make it something, but just let me know.
So, yeah, when Vecna starts trying to taunt Allura just screams out, "That's enough!" and dispels magic to dispel the illusion.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
So, in essence, the council that is there, you know, Vord and all of the other religious leaders and such, turn to Vox Machina, like, and they're pretty much like, you guys are more familiar with Vecna and doing things of this type than we are. I mean, we'll get armies out there, no problem, when we'll handle, you know, the army versus army stuff. But, you know, what do you guys? What are your? How should we proceed against Vecna himself? And I loved that Keyleth was the one that stepped forward and says, "Why do you guys always turn to us, thinking we know anything about what we're doing?"
Yep. Basically.
But yeah, so, you know, the plan eventually boils down to the Wyverns, or Wyvern Riders, and primary army of Vasselheim will, you know, go out and distract. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Distract the army so that Vox Machina themselves can get into up to Vecna without having to go through too much. And there's one of two places that Vecna could be in the mountains, from a historical perspective. One is old Dwarven mines, and the other is a graveyard.
Like, well, the way
I'm sorry, not Dwarven mines.
No.
I spoiled that one. One is the body of a fallen titan.
That had been inhabited by cannibalistic dwarves.
Oh, like I said, I ruined that little setup. I was trying to go with the setup of either a titan or a graveyard, and then Sam, with his really high history check, was able to find out that the Titan corpse had been inhabited by dwarves that had gone insane and became cannibals, and were probably buried within the Titan.
Yep.
So, after, you know, some real brief discussion on which location to go to, the druids from within Vasselheim came to transport via plant, or whatever the exact name of the spell is.
That's it.
Cast that so that the army could quickly get to where they needed to be.
The army of Wyvern Riders.
Yes. And Vax, you know, gets asked by Vox Machina, "Where's Vecna?" And it turns out that he's 4 miles away in the direction of Vasselheim. He's already gotten whatever it was he wanted, and he's on his way to Vasselheim.
Wait, he's 4 miles?
4 miles away, not 4 miles away from Vasselheim, 4 miles away from the party.
Oh, yeah.
In the direction of Vasselheim.
Yeah. This was after they went through. We skipped over the part where Jamon Sword was offered to come with Vox Machina and take them. And he gave them 8 superior healing potions. Like, like a boss, but then that's when you know that your DM is setting you up to be in a real tough series of fights.
Yep. This is the point. If your DM ever says to your party, here, have 8 superior or a large number of any sort of healing, really. Look at the DM and say, are you planning on trying to TPK us tonight? Whew.
Because no doubt he probably is.
Yes.
Or they probably are. Sorry, that was a discriminatory comment. DMs are not all men. We have very many lady DMs and very many other DMs of any gender.
Yes. And very good ones at that.
Yes.
So. But yeah, so they get the 8 superior healing. They essentially start riding Devosa, who is Jamon's Lord. And, they start flying towards where Vax is saying, this is where Vecna is. And they notice that there are some massive imprints in the ground. And I mean massive.
Hundreds of feet apart.
Yep.
Or wide, yeah.
They're flying along, following these what appear to be footprints of some sort. And there it is, the Titan.
Which, by the way, is the same Titan Grog's Titan Stone knuckles were carved out of the heart from.
Yes. Oh boy. But that's where that particular episode sort of winds down. They see at the hip an area where water is rushing out of this Titan. And as they go to for lack of a better way of saying it, mount the Titan. They go invisible. Jamon Sword getting some of them invisible, including himself. Scanlan getting the rest of them invisible. And as they go, I believe it's Vex ends up getting knocked off. Or no,
Keyleth.
Keyleth?
Vax and Keyleth.
Yeah. Vax and Keyleth get knocked off. And so we get this really interesting scene where Jamon Sword's flying along. Invisible though they are, the Titan still, swings out behind itself in order to try and make the attack. Obviously, this is because Vecna can see through the invisibility.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, Vecna can see through the invisibility with true sight.
Oh, I totally thought they were being sneaky. I didn't think Vecna knew that they were there. Whoops.
Well, if having been invisible, I don't think the Titan zombie, would have realized they were even there.
Yep.
So.
Either that, or it was just the Titan Stone thing doing its natural swing as it walked, or I don't know.
No, because the way Matt described it, it was like it was slapping at them.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and so he knocks off Vax and Keyleth. And so we get this awesome little rescue where they Vax feels Keyleth getting knocked off even as he's falling. So he grabs onto her and pops his wings. And then he gets... And because he popped his wings, I believe that... Did that count as a spell? Which made him visible?
No. So what ended up happening was that Keyleth turned into a giant eagle.
Oh, okay.
And Vax had previously thrown... He had lost sight of Keyleth, so Keyleth told him to throw Whisper after he spotted her through a high perception check. He throws Whisper, he turns visible again, and Keyleth turns into a giant invisible eagle. So it's just Vax, who's visible, on top of Keyleth, flying towards Jamon, or the place that they were going to meet at.
Yes.
And that is when the giant boulder hand, mountain hand, comes and smashes them. Again, which sends Vax tumbling, but he catches himself with his wings, and Keyleth's form drops. Vax goes and catches Keyleth at that point.
Yeah. They eventually make it to where this water is pouring out of the Titan's hip. And Keyleth does some control water to hold back the water to allow the rest of Vox Machina to climb onto the steps that are there. And if I'm not mistaken, that was where the episode ended.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised, honestly. I had expected that either episode 109 or the upcoming episode 110 to have been the end of the campaign, honestly.
I mean, I knew it could have been a possibility, but at the same time I was like, nah, Matt's gonna run this out a little bit. It's too much. This fight's too big for at least a couple more episodes to not go by.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get straight to Vecna. I don't think they're going to see a way to get straight to Vecna unless they scry on him and then go immediately to him.
He's a god. They're not going to be able to scry on him. Even if he doesn't know what's going on with them.
Yeah.
But they'll just follow Vax's Vecnar.
Yep.
Or Vector.
Vector.
Yeah. But that was also Friday for Gen Con.
Not all of it. I have more to tell about Friday.
Oh, really?
Because I have to thank the critter community because, like I was saying before, like the energy and just the validation that you guys give off is amazing. But at the same time, I have never met a community that is just so kind, so thoughtful, so caring, so wanting to help others within this community and make sure that everybody's having the best time. Because at the break, Christina started to have a coughing fit. And she was not feeling good at all. And I rushed her out with her to the bathroom, and I was determined to get her in there. So I was telling people to move left and right. And you guys, you parted like the gosh darn Red Sea. Like, everybody, I have never had this happen before where everybody immediately just gets out of the way. when I shouted that somebody is sick, please move. We need to get to the bathroom.
Aw. Critters, you
So,
guys are awesome.
yeah. If anybody saw Akima cosplayer in the bathroom with her arms crossed, glaring at everybody in front of a stall, that was me protecting my girlfriend's stall. So, yeah. So we get out into the hall, and I'm trying to figure out what I need to do in order to get her better, and try and give her some space, trying to let her breathe it out a little bit because she had coughed so hard that she had thrown up. So it was, yeah.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. So it wasn't a good time for her. We had, I don't know the exact amount, but I do know a solid number of 10 critters in a row came up to us and asked if she was okay, asked what she needed. We had somebody come and ask if she needed water. I told him yes, and he just went and got us water, no questions asked. The staff there was amazing because they just gave us water for free. Sabina, who was dressed as Sundry, came by and gave us some food. And then we had another girl come up, and I don't know your name, but if you ever hear this, thank you for giving my girlfriend medication, because you guys are so amazing. You helped us when it was a bad moment, and she was not feeling well, and we were just trying to get out of the chaos, and you guys were there every step of the way. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. This community, feel so blessed to be a part of it. I'm going to do everything in my power to just give and give and give to this community because you guys give back tenfold. Thank you so much.
I love this community. I really do.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to cry, you guys. Like, legit. You're all so amazing. And Christina says so, too. Like, just, she has never been with a group of people that have cared so deeply about the well-being of everybody than this community has. So, round of applause to you guys, because you're freaking amazing.
Absolutely. So. And
then that was Friday.
Okay. So what happened on Saturday? Because this is a particular story that
Saturday's long. Yeah, Saturday's long, guys. I have a real long post about this, and you can get into a whole bunch of detail. I might mention everything here.
We don't really have time for everything to be mentioned.
Nope. I will try to go fast. I will do my best. I apologize if I don't. So sorry in advance. Let me actually get to it because I forget. Yep, it's on the other page. Previous page. Because there's no way that I'm not going to be able to say this without having to look at my notes. Alright, here we go. This was Sundry cosplay day. So we wake up and it's about 9 or 10 o'clock and we're getting ready in our Sundry Raven Queen cosplays. I have teacups, but I forgot when we got in the Uber. So I'm sorry. I did not have teacups for any kind of pictures like that, but we both have our cosplays and we will both do it again with teacups at some point.
If I get to go next year, I will be the table carrier and teacup carrier. And I'll just, so that way when you guys get asked to get pictures taken, I can be there and I'll set up the little table for you guys to be drinking tea. Like a
fold-out table, put on this really fancy table spread for us.
Yep. Complete with tablecloth and everything.
Yeah. And I do believe we have pictures for that of the costumes. I don't know if you're going to put them up afterwards or now. Akiva, but yeah.
The
Sarah May one.
Oh, yeah, I had that one up earlier.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
But I will put it back up. That one.
Yeah. So, sorry, let me get my notes. But as we're putting on our costumes, it was bad enough that Christina was just getting sick night after night, but she would get better after she took her medication for the day and waited a little bit while we were getting ready. But then we realized she'd lost her wallet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she did not have her wallet. She was not going to be able to leave the state unless she went to the DMV and got a temporary one, or found her wallet, or went and got interrogated at the airport so that they could make sure she was who she said she was and sort it all out with them. But she was not a happy camper. It's not a good combo to have.
No, it's not.
No. So we found out that the theater wasn't going to be open until later that day. So we decided, okay, well, you can still get into the con. You just can't get into the alpha party later, but we can still go to the theater and get it before the alpha party. Because we figured that the last place it had been was probably the theater, since she had bought food there, or the Uber driver's car, and the Uber driver hadn't called yet about any kind of missing wallet. So we were going to go to the theater later that day. So we get ready in our cosplays, and there are a lot of pictures and videos of this on my Twitter feed and on Christina's Twitter feed and on a whole bunch of other people's Twitter feeds, of just me having a fucking blast with these goddamn fucking wings. Because those wings are fucking amazing.
They look like fun.
I just swore twice. It's a family-friendly show. I wasn't supposed to say.
That's okay.
Hand slap on me. But, let's see. So, we get there, and we're taking tons of pictures. We meet up again with Tiefling of Color. That's her Twitter handle. In line, and we're just having tons of fun with the wings. We're saying hi to all of the cosplayers. I find some pikes, and I think I gave you a picture of that, but no, I'm not. I did not give you a picture of that.
Didn't.
Okay, so there are pictures of me and Pike, because who would I be if I did not fangirl over my favorite cleric?
Indeed.
So I found lots of pikes and hung out with them, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then at Ariel is here, and Jane the Books, who's Elizabeth, show up. Ariel is still rocking the Kavarin cosplay. And we start chatting and stuff, and it's at that point when Frank and Alex showed up, the guys who I had talked about from Thursday. So they show up, Chris goes over and talks to them, and she gets Frank's player's handbook to have Matt sign it, because she's only got her character sheet for them to sign, and she's like, well, I mean, I'm okay with not getting Matt's signature, that's totally fine. I can get this signed for you. And I did the same thing and shout out to at Drunken Pilot over on Twitter, Jonesy. I got her Vax and Scanlan parallel death picture signed for them.
Nice.
So they are super happy about that. And I was super happy to get it signed by Liam and say hi for them. But we get back in line, and the cast shows up. And we've only got a barrier separating us, so they're just right there. Like, my heart, you all know that feeling, like you're trying to act normal, you're trying so hard to be like, in your head, they're just people. Like, legit, they're just doing their jobs. They're enjoying what they do. They're actors. They're just really good at what they do, and they love sharing it with everybody. But they're still just people.
That rational part of your mind is going, play it cool. Everything's fine. Play it cool. Play it cool.
And then your heart is screaming at the top of its lungs, like, oh my gosh, 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 oh my gosh. It's you guys. I love you. Please, please, please think I'm cool. Play it cool, please. So, the cast is looking all up at the audience because people were starting to sit up in the stands for the ticketed line that we were in. We were down below, right in the area in front of the booths, but then it wound up into the stands and everybody was sitting up there.
Nice.
So they were looking all up at the people, and I was waving my wing around a little bit to get Matt's attention as they were looking at the cosplays, and he sees us, and his face lights up like it's Christmas. Akiva.
Nice.
Yeah. So I do a little of my wing stuff because I think he said you look amazing. I don't really remember Akiva because it's Matthew Mercer saying we look awesome.
Does Marisha need to keep an eye out for you?
No, Marisha can keep her man. I just want to be Matt's best friend. I don't know if the chat is refreshing or not. Let me see, you guys. Hold on. Nope. Nobody's just been posting in chat. They've just been listening. Enraptured, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's a great story.
So, Taliesin had also said something along the lines of him complimenting the both of us. But I don't know because I did it in front of the entire cast. So if anybody in the chat saw, or anybody else listening afterwards saw anybody's face in the cast after I did that, or demonstrated my wings a little bit, can you tell me what they all were doing, what their faces were doing? Because I didn't see anybody either going, oh wow, that's cool, or anything, and I'm kind of curious. So we waited a little bit. They were pretty hyped about Ariel is here's cosplay on Twitter, doing for the Kavarn, and they were all rolling the dice.
Nice.
But the other highlight was that Party Gilmore, who is at Cowboy Boots and Hunter's Helper over on Tumblr, was in her Bigby's hand with Scanlan sitting on top cosplay. It's this actual giant Bigby's hand where she's got fake legs in it, but it looks like Scanlan is sitting in Bigby's hand.
Nice.
And she did an amazing job with that. So Sam went over and gave her a hug and freaked out about that.
Freaked out or geeked out?
Both. Oh, thanks, John. He said they were watching my wings twirl too. So the line starts to move, and everybody's beginning to get moved through the line, and they were signing up for decal stickers for Sam for the Scanlan inserts that they were mentioning earlier. They didn't have them on hand, so they had to get people's emails to ship them out later. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want any of that. I don't know. I just wanted to get things signed. I was good on my Scanlan-centric things.
Knowing that the cover art is from his point of view.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not one of those people who's got to be like, no, Scanlan's got to be there. I'm like, I can use my imagination because Sam's in the book a whole bunch of different places. It's cool. Scanlan's there. Let it be. So because they had people signing up, and they had a separate line going for that, we got pushed through like almost immediately, and there were only like 2 other people ahead of us, going first in line. So that yeah. So you've seen this artwork before, the one that I got signed by the cast. It's the 100th episode tribute art that I did. It's the one where it's the Vox Machina / Steven Universe crossover artwork.
Yes.
Yes. So I poured my heart and soul into that, you guys. So, and it didn't make its rounds on Twitter a whole bunch. So I was like, well, I have this art. I've made it fancier. I've cleaned it up a little bit. I'm pretty sure most of the cast has not seen it, and I was correct. Most of the cast had not. So I'm going to bring it, and I'm going to show it to them because I worked really hard on this, and I want them to sign it. I want it to be burned into their memories. Damn it. It's the last thing that I do. So I get it. I get up to Matt, because Matt's first. And then I have been like joking around with Christina a little bit, just going, they're just people, dude. Why is your face like that? Ha 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 ha. Finger guns. You get closer to Matt, and then my heart leaps into my throat, and I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, there he is, there he is. Oh, I'm about to meet Matthew Mercer. Up close and personal. And I remember walking up and saying, hi, Matt, and because I'm wearing the Sundry cosplay, he's like, hi, you look amazing. And his face lit up like a Christmas tree again. Anywho.
Oh boy.
I'm blushing so much right now, you guys. I'm such a fangirl.
Hey. I'm a guy and I'm a fangirl when it comes to Matt.
I mean, who isn't? Like, I have the utmost respect for every single one of those cast members. I love Taliesin. He's one of the reasons I am strongly bisexual, because he knows how to work his words, my dudes. Liam, just, in his V-necks. Just... all the ladies are very attractive people, and they're all attractive personalities. They're just amazing people. But
yes, they
Matt,
are.
It's something special with Matt, and I know tons of people feel the same way. And it's like everybody wants to go and see Matt. And I had even at one point said, okay, well, if there are any kind of like autograph signings and Matt has too long of a line, I'll be okay with that. I'll just go and get signings from everybody else. I'm really glad I got to meet Matt. So I had told him that we had forgotten the teacups, and he said something along the lines of that just being really brilliant. And I didn't process this until later, but Akiva, that means he knows about the headcanon.
Yes.
He knows about the headcanon.
Sarah Drain, the Raven Queen, having tea.
My dudes, they know. Matt thinks it's amazing. I'm gonna die. Moving on. And I told him that we had been Kima and Alora yesterday, and I told him that he was the one that had taken off the dress and everything. And again, I didn't think it could happen, but his face lit up again, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys look great." I don't remember if that's exactly what he said, but it was along those lines. My voice is getting higher and higher. So you remember me saying that I had been really anxious that the joke hadn't gone over? I mentioned that to him, and he had said, "Oh no! I thought it was fucking hilarious." He signed my picture, and he signed it as Happy Bear, or Trinket as Happy Bear. That was awesome.
Nice.
And I mean, yeah. And then, I don't know when this happened, but you guys, your heart is gonna stop beating as soon as Matthew Mercer takes both of your hands and both of his hands, looks you straight in the face with the most genuine expression you've ever seen on a human being and says thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why we love the cast so much. They're all so thankful that we enjoy what they do, and we are so thankful for them because they share with us what they do.
It's just one whole big cycle of love, and it's amazing. So, I didn't stop shaking after that. My hand was going a mile a minute. That was, I might have had a normal voice talking to the rest of the cast, but if you looked at my hands, you saw them shaking at the edge of the table. I got to Taliesin next. Sorry, do you mind if I go through each cast member, or should I speed it up a little bit? Akiva? Did we lose Akiva? I do not hear Akiva. My internet's good. Sorry, you guys. I don't hear Akiva anymore. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you guys can hear me anymore. Hello? Am I muted? I'm not muted. I just can't hear Akiva anymore. Akiva, text me in the chat. Sorry, you guys. I'm going to keep going since it seems like it's just Akiva that he might have muted himself and gone away. So I'm going to keep going through until I get to the end of the cast. And if we don't have an Akiva back by that point, let me know. And we'll see how this goes. So I get to Taliesin, and I talk to him a little bit about the image and how it just didn't get, cycled enough in its Twitter. But he really seemed to like it, so that validated the effort that I put into it. I was pretty happy about that. I got to Marisha next. She complimented Keyleth with the tattoos, and I told her I really liked her design choices with Keyleth, and she also seemed to like the picture. And then I got to Liam, and Liam is one of the biggest contributors of why I am still in this fandom and still making art for this fandom, because he likes a ton of my work, and just puts me in a really good place whenever he likes a picture of mine. So I had wanted to get the artwork signed for Jonesy, but I had also wanted to thank him and tell him how much I appreciated it. But then something happened, and I don't completely remember, but it was along the lines of Marisha asking who the artist was, me telling her that I had actually done the artwork, and then her showing Liam the artwork, saying that, oh my gosh, look, she drew this. And then Liam recognizing it, and the man getting the smuggest look on his face and saying, I know who you are, I recognize the style. Jeez, like that's one way to shut me up. That's just one way to shut me up, you guys. I didn't even get to say anything else to Liam because I was so flustered. I kind of just moved on to Sam with my face probably burning red. Yeah. Yep. Sam, I had an interaction with him just telling him that, hey, his own character inspired mine, and that I got another oh wow at the piece, and that made me happy. So he signed Terry since he doesn't get to do that a lot. And I forget a lot about these last couple of people, so I apologize for that. But I talked with Laura and Travis, asked them how their con was going, informed them that I had, indeed drawn this piece, like everybody else was asking, and then thanked them after they signed it. And I moved on to Brian, said that he could sign Scanlan since Sam had taken Terry, and like the proper troll he is, he signed underneath Scanlan's crotch. So there's that. Oh, I hope you can search through my Twitter images, John, and you can probably find that picture a little ways down. So we do not appear to have an Akiva back at this point, but the stream is still going. I still have a feed rolling. So I'm going to keep continuing on, even though we do not have a Akiva and he's not responding to my messages. So I'll just keep going throughout the day. And then if Akiva is not back, but the stream is still going, I'll just continue the conversation without him. I don't want to hang up because we might get him back and I don't want to ruin the stream. So I'll keep going and we'll see how it goes. But just be prepared for things to get cut off or for Akiva to suddenly pop back in and scare everybody. Let's see. All right. So I was shaking a lot after that. And Chris came over and told me that because she was wearing the Raven Queen stuff, Liam had told her, "Thanks, Mom," after she was moved on. And she replied to him, "Goodbye, bird son." So that was a cute little moment. Frank got really excited when Chris handed him back his signed player's handbook by none other than Matt Mercer. And he was pretty much beaming for the entire hour. We saw Steve again, the giant Australian bouncer that I had so fondly been picked up and twirled around by. And he was playing D&D in the line. And I went over to say hello, and I saw, Devin, Jenna, and Devin's dad, and a couple of other people from Terry's group. And we got to talking, and then they asked me to demonstrate my wings for them. Nice, John. John got a hug from Brian when he found out that John was Uncle Ook. So that's awesome, John. But I was demonstrating with my wings for the very first time, and to anybody who was in that hopefuls line, if you saw me doing that and you got quiet, yeah. I turned back around after doing a little spin, and everybody wasn't talking, and they were staring. And, I'm just really grateful for everybody loving the cosplay. I love the cosplay myself. It's just really unnerving to suddenly have tons and tons of people staring directly at you. And this is not normally something that happens to me. So thanks. One we got bombarded with picture requests after that. Sabina took this really cool photo, and you can see that on her Twitter later. And then Tony came back and found us. So we got the whole party again. And he had come thinking that we might be here, and lo and behold, there we were. So we had a ton of time to kill before we were supposed to go and find Chris's wallet at the theater. So we took all the pictures. Tony, Alex, Frank, and the two of us headed back to the convention center, and we were just stopped all along the way by people who wanted to take pictures of us. But we got back into the convention hall. We saw Satine Phoenix again, who were perusing the same dice booth that we were. And she was on her way out, but had stopped. And Rudy, they had been stopping at a whole bunch of booths earlier, and Rudy was just looking really anxious to get going at that point, and a little what's the word I'm looking for? Brain fart moment, you guys. This is terrible. Not disappointed, but yeah, he just really wanted to get going. But Satine just kept stopping. And they moved on, I think, after buying some dice, but I bought some dragon dice, and I got a handful or a mug full of dice, so my dice bag is now twice as heavy, and it was a very good haul. And then we find out that Christina has lost her glasses, which she had stored in her bag. So, you know, you can only imagine how she feels at this point, losing two really important things, because the glasses help prevent migraines a little bit for her. They're a special kind of prescription. So we sat down for a little bit, breathed it out, and I deduced that since the last place she was taking stuff in and out of her bag was at the stadium in line, and there was a gap under where the field met the high rises and the seats, that they probably fell out there. So we go back to the stadium, find an official, and give them the description, and then I follow him back to the line, and he comes back holding the glasses. So, yay. One item down, one to go. And I gotta give a shout out to Sabina again, and the girl cosplaying as, who was cosplaying as Trish, because you gave Christina all the love and hugs and calmed her down, and you were just being so supportive of us. So thank you guys so much. Terry, our DM, sent us pictures from up in the crowd. And I went up to go talk with her, and I did a little display of my wings again for the people who were still up in line. And I got a couple of applauses. So more Jessica encouragement of how, air quote, pretty I looked. So that was just, oof. Man, we were just getting stopped left and right. Like, I was just in awe of how badass Christina looked, and everybody else seemed to agree too. But then they were also saying how badass I looked, and that's just not something I'm used to. Like, I know it was a good costume, but it's hard to be so like, oh yeah, it's a great costume. Thank you for saying I look really pretty. But it's just like, it's not something I'm used to, you guys. So we actually meet up with Steve again, and at this point, we dub ourselves the search party. We got Steve, we got Frank, we got Tony, and we got Alex and Christina and I. And we have the best of times. So we're in the Uber going over to the theater, and we each individually figure out which party member we are. I'm the bard, Chris is the druid, Frank is our cleric, Steve is our monk, Alex is the barbarian, and Tony is our fighter. So we're a pretty well balanced party, I gotta say. We get to the theater, lo and behold, there's the wallet. And thus, we've got a happy Chris, and we got a happy girlfriend, and we got a happy party. And so we go to a bar, and we have quesadillas before we go to the alpha party. Because that was just, that was good. That was great. Just going throughout that entire day with so many ups and downs, but then finally getting it all resolved was just the best feeling. And we're walking through downtown, just a bunch of really happy people. So we get to the party and we're able to get all of our friends in. I think Akiva has a picture of it. It'll probably go up Monday. I don't know why it's not going. I don't know where Akiva is. He's still not here. But moving on, we are at this party, and we've got Matt Abernathy, Crit Roll Stats. I forget the guy whose name is, who's head of Crit Roll. Not head, but representative for Crit Roll Stats. We got Sax. We got Amy Vorpal, who showed up real drunk later, but we're not going to get into that because she was having a good time. So let Amy Vorpal be. She was having a real good night. We got Ryan Green, we got Wendy Doodles, we got Meg, we got at Anadesu from Twitter, who's a really great artist and has done lots of Critical Role art in the past. I actually recognized her because she had a sketchbook in her hand. I asked if I could see her artwork and or whatever she was sketching. She turned it over and I'm like, oh, you're this person I really admire. That's amazing. Andrew, thanks, John. Andrew from Kirwell Stacks. We had Ivy, we had Amy Dallin, we had Satine, we had Rudy that was there, and we had Becca, and I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch of other people. Travis from the Adventure Zone cast was there. So that made Tony real happy because he was dressed as Magnus, Travis's character. So that was cool. I saw him on my way towards the back one time. So confirmation that he was actually there. They had Jenga going. They had D&D games going outside. They had a live band. There was a dance floor. They were playing Teen Titans, the good one, before they eventually got to the terrible one, Teen Titans Go, later on. But they had the good one, and they were playing the most intense episodes. But they also had Dragon Ball on as well. Yeah, it was so cool. You guys were out there running D&D. You had Amy Vorpal come out. You had Amy Dallin come out and play. Like, that was cool. And Mike Merle showed up? Oh, wow. I know Brian showed up later as well. That was after I had left. He literally came in like 5 minutes after I left. Me and Tony had gone away. But I got in there, had a cup of wine, and immediately started dancing with Tony for a real long time. And I'll post this artwork later somewhere on here. We might put it up in the after show stuff. But I got dancing with the Terry cosplayer Sabina and the party Gilmore. And, you know, they're an attractive bunch of ladies, you guys. So that was a nice time. And then I was out on the patio. I had been talking with Ryan Green for a while. and I started talking to another guy. And I apologize if I do not recall your name. I'm real sorry that I don't recall you, but I have been talking to you, and you were the guy who went out and got Amy Dallin after I said that, oh, I wonder if Amy Dallin is here tonight. And he said that she was. And okay. Do you want me to continue, Akiva? Telling my story, or do you want me to go on ahead and shut down? Just give this a sec, guys. Let me know if I'm still being broadcasted. Because I'm getting nothing at this point. Okay, yeah, I'll go on ahead and finish up. So he goes in and gets Amy Dallin after I said, oh, well, I've been looking forward to going and talking with her tonight. And you know, you don't really want to tear somebody away from their conversation that they're having to go and meet somebody else that they probably don't really know. So I was a little hesitant about that. And Tony, thank you for being a champ, because you went in after I said, oh, I really don't actually want him to go and get her, and tried your best to go and stop it. But then after about a minute, Amy Dallin comes sauntering out with the guy behind her, and Tony coming up after apologizing that he couldn't stop it. But she comes up, I introduce myself, tell her I'm sorry for tearing her away from her conversation. She says it's no problem. I tell her who I am, that I really absolutely love Vast, that I do artwork for it, that I had seen them yesterday at the panel. And she asks to see my Twitter page. And I show her my header and my profile picture. And she lights up like Matthew and gasps like a fangirl. And Amy Dallin started to fangirl over me. She said she knows who I was. She asked to give me a hug. Like, it's real weird when I would never, ever, ever have expected Amy Dallin to come up to me and ask permission to give me a hug. Just, like, of course. I'm a really big fan. Internet sensation Amy Dallin. There's no reason to. Just hug me, please. I still can't comprehend what exactly happened in that moment. So that happened. That made me super happy. And that was Saturday. That was pretty much the alpha party. They had chicken on waffles, and they had tiny burgers. They had popcorn in the corner. It was an open bar. It was an open buffet. A whole bunch of people showed up, and we danced the night away. And it was amazing. And I was in my Sarah May costume the entire time. There was no way I was taking off that costume because it was just so breezy. So Sunday is our low-key day. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this. The only real big highlight from this is that as we are going around, we meet back up with the entire search party again, and we spend the entire rest of the con together. And I love these dudes. Like, Tony and Jet, you're awesome. And Frank, Alex, and Steve, you're amazing. But all critters are just awesome. You guys made my con. It was awesome, just completely amazing. And I see that Amy Dallin is at Ivan Ben Norman's booth. She tweeted it out. So we head on over, and Amy Dallin is there. Yep, I will do the outro. And we get chatting with Amy Dallin. I had bought this little rubber dragon that wraps around your hand, and I asked her to name it. And yes, Ivan Van Norman is amazing. We got to meet him there at the booth. I actually bought the books that he was selling, which is ABCs of RPGs, which you all should totally buy. And I got it signed by him, the other author, and Amy Dallin. So I now have a coloring book that has Amy Dallin's signature in it, and I'm very happy with that purchase. But I had a dragon that wraps around your hand, and I asked Amy to name it, and she named it Midnight Sparkle. So that was cool. Yep. We talked to her for a bit before we eventually played Werewolf in the hall, because we no longer had anything we wanted to buy. We just sat down and played a good couple rounds of Werewolf, got kicked out of the convention center, went to the spaghetti factory, had an amazing meal, and then said goodbye. And that was Gen Con. Thank you to everybody I met, to everybody who traveled along with us, who went on this crazy ride, who went on this crazy search for this this whole series of events that happened that just led to the most satisfying and amazing weekend that I have ever had in my life. And Saturday has got to be, despite the ups and downs, the best day of my life so far. Thank you to all of you Gilmore glorious gossipers that I met there. I was so happy that I finally got to put a face to the chat that I've been seeing for months. And you guys are just a blast to be around. It was a truly unforgettable weekend, and I cannot reiterate how grateful I am. So, if you enjoyed the episode, click that like button and subscribe and catch us each and every week. Send in your D&D questions to us using the hashtag DM's Corner. If you want to submit art, please contact us via Twitter. If you were mentioned in this episode and I did not read out your Twitter handle or your Tumblr URL, go on ahead and put it in the comments if you want to, so that people can go and find you and follow you. Because we do want to uplift your blogs and just make sure that everybody gets followed in the critter community as possible. We want to promote you guys as much as we want to promote ourselves. So go on ahead and do that. If you have stories from Gen Con, we'd love to hear it. Go on ahead and post those in the comments below as well. That was earlier Akiva David, AKIVADAPHYDD. I am Jess at Jessie LR Leaf, and we hope you enjoyed. And until next week, kick back, relax, and enjoy your games. Have a nat 20 day. I will see you guys on the internet. Have a nice week, you guys.